Hello and welcome to another episode of Worlds Collide. I'm your host Justin.
And I'm Mitch.
And today we're bringing you episode 22 being
The God of Thunder.
The Mighty Thor. Now, he goes way, way back.
Yes.
We've seen him in like every big story ever in Marvel.
Yes. Yes, so in past episodes we talked about how Fantastic Four have been the venue for that Marvel used to introduce a bunch of different characters, and then Spider-Man also helped in that. So Fantastic Four introduced Spider-Man. Spider-Man in Fantastic Four continued to introduce more characters. Well, Thor also had a hand in that, but instead of introducing characters, they introduced events.
Yes,
and also characters as well. So the Inhumans got their intro from Thor comics.
didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
well, there's the obvious characters. Yes. All the Asgardians.
Yes.
Valkyrie, etc. Anyone to deal with Valhalla.
Yeah.
A lot of our North mythology, pantheon of gods and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's a ton of characters in Marvel that all stem from Thor. And
yes.
that whole planet? What did we say? Planet or other realm? What is Asgard?
Asgard is a planet within the realm of Asgard. So there's the realm of Asgard,
right?
And then you have the planet Asgard that's in the realm of Asgard.
And in the realm of Asgard, there's other planets too.
That's right.
Okay, such as the Frost Giants.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, which is where Loki came from.
That's right.
Okay, so why don't we kick it back to the original?
So
where did Thor first come from? When did we get his publication?
Yeah, we'll go through his publication history and we'll go over his origin, and we'll cover as much ground as we can for today. So Thor is one of the most important characters in Marvel. He is Marvel's Superman.
Safe to say.
Yeah. Putting that in perspective, Thor is very important for Marvel. So obviously there's going to be a lot of stories involving Thor, and I don't know if we can be able to squeeze everything in one episode, but we'll see what we can do.
I don't think so. I remember looking up one of the stories on YouTube alone, and it's like a 6-hour, 45-minute breakdown of one event.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, I know what video you're talking about. I was watching the same thing. It's not one event.
It's a massive event spanning many events?
Yes. Yeah, it's like 10 events, but it's from the same writer, so it's like a series of domino effects.
Just this compounding story on story on story that just when you think, you got to the end, a whole new chapter opens.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to fit it all in today.
No. So, let's start with publication history, though. So, his first appearance was in Journey into the Mystery number 83 in 1962.
Yeah.
So, Journey into Mystery was an anthology series where they would just print various sci-fi and fantasy stories, and that's where Thor got started. So Thor got started after Hulk, and Stan Lee quoted, this is a quote from Stan Lee, he had said when he was trying to figure out the next hero, the next character he was going to introduce, he's like, well, I've already created Hulk, how do I create a hero stronger than the strongest man alive? Then he thought, well, simple, let's not make him human, let's make him a god. So and at the time, Greek mythology gods was used heavily in comics. Roman gods was used heavily. Egyptian gods were used heavily. Not a lot of people used the Norse gods. Norse mythology was not a very well-known, well-used pantheon. So Stanley decided to go into Norse mythology and decided to use Thor, God of Thunder, as his next hero.
And of course, he picked Odin as his father.
Yeah.
And many other characters from the pantheon to diversify Asgard in the realm.
Yeah, the dwarves and the ice giants and Heimdall and
it was good.
Yeah,
great use of something untapped into yet because everyone's publicizing and popularizing, like you said, every other culture.
Yeah,
why not the Norse?
Yeah, and here's another thing. So IGN ranked Thor in their top 100 comic book superheroes of all time. In 2011, IGN ranked Thor number 14 out of their top 100. And then the year after, in 2012, they did a top 50 Avengers, and they ranked Thor number 1.
Number one Avenger.
Yeah, number one best Avenger.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of people on the Avenger team.
Yeah. Well, you got Iron Man, you got Captain America, you have Sentry.
These are just the well-known, the A-listers, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many diverse teams.
Yeah. War Machine, Hawkeye, Black Widow, you have Vision, you have Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, so many.
And that's just the main line.
Yeah. Journey of Mystery. Journey of Mystery became. So Journey of Mystery started printing Thor, and then shortly afterwards, Thor became really popular. So Journey into the Mystery became Journey into the Mystery featuring the Mighty Thor. And then eventually by issue number 179 in 1970, so 8 years later, Journey into Mystery became just the Mighty Thor.
Took a while.
Yeah.
But it was centered on him prior to that?
Yeah.
For those 8 years?
Yeah.
Damn, that took way too long.
Yeah, well, because it continued to be an anthology, so it was mainly Thor, but with some backup issues. So that's where the Inhumans got their start, was in the Journey of Mysteries featuring Thor, and one of the backup stories was the Inhumans.
So they just didn't commit to the main
right.
character yet. They're still introing multiple avenues to diversify their lineups.
That's right. Even though Thor's major villain was the cause of the formation of the Avengers.
Right, Loki.
Yeah.
His brother.
Yeah.
Or adopted.
Yeah.
Adopted brother.
So, a lot of people watching right now are probably mostly familiar with Thor from the movies. And from the movies, they are fairly accurate with some tweaks. So, just like what the movie showed, Odin sent Thor to Earth with no memory of him being Thor to show him... Who knows how...
Yes. He knows well.
That's right. You should see it when he uses two hammers.
Even better. So, sent to Earth, no memory of who he is or why he's there.
That's right, to show him humility.
Yes, teach him he might be a god, but he's got to, empathize with the rest of the world.
Yeah, well, like I said, no memory of him being a god. He doesn't know he's a god.
Right, but he's grown up his whole life having his way, and no one gets in it.
Yeah, well, he doesn't remember that either.
No.
So what they did in the comics that's different to... what's the difference between the comics to the movie is that when Odin sent Thor to Earth, he didn't just send him as Thor. He sent him inside the body of a half-crippled medical student named Donald Blake. So Donald Blake was this frail human who had to walk with a walking stick, a medical student. He ended up graduating and becoming a doctor, but secretly he was Thor. He just didn't know it. He didn't remember being an Asgardian. He didn't remember being a god or anything like that. He thought he was human.
So you're telling me Thor's a doctor?
Yes.
Didn't know that.
That's right, Dr. Hemsworth.
Dr. Hemsworth. Wonder what he studied.
Medicine.
Of all sorts.
Yes. Yeah, he was a medical practitioner. He was like a MD. He was just a...
Standard.
Healer. Yeah. So after he graduated from medical school, he took a vacation. He went to... Let me go to my biography here.
Tax.
Norway. He went to Norway, and while he was in Norway, he ended up running into some aliens. And he tried to run away from the aliens. As he was running away, he broke his cane. So now he's limping, trying to get away from these aliens, trying to hide from these aliens, cursing his luck, cursing his frail body, cursing... of course his cane is going to break on him while he's in danger of these aliens invading Earth. So he ends up finding this cave, and in this cave there is this weird walking stick, and he grabs it and he uses it as his walking stick. But in his frustration of everything that's going on, he hits the walking stick against the ground, and the walking stick turns into Mjolnir, and he turns into Thor.
Just like, I'm sick of this. Bah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's Thor. So, for the longest time, this was who Thor was. this is a time where every superhero had like an alternate identity, right? Mm-hmm. So this was Thor's secret identity, is that he was he was the human. He was the
Donald Blake.
Donald Blake, thank you. He was the human Donald Blake, and then when he would hit the stick, his walking stick, he would become Thor. The stick would become Mjolnir, and he would become Thor. And his one weakness is that he had to be holding Mjolnir to remain as Thor. If he is without Mjolnir for 60 seconds, he'll turn back into Donald Blake. So he can still throw the hammer; it'll come back to him, but it has to be back in his hand within 60 seconds. Or he'll turn back into Donald Blake.
Not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So, like, I wonder how long they had the comics issues running where he was just Donald Blake.
For half the publication, like, all the way up until the 1990s.
But he would switch back and forth. Yeah. He would... Okay, I was going to say, like, as a reader, that'd be really boring.
Oh, no.
He's just this crippled old guy.
No, like the first issue.
To finish medicine school.
The first issue, he did a transition.
6 issues later. Fucking graduated.
No, like, the first issue, you don't see the whole entire Odin thing. The first issue, you're just with Donald Blake. And he's just running away from these aliens. And he just finds his stick, and he hits the stick, and he turns into Thor.
That's awesome.
You don't get the whole entire Asgard part until much later.
That's all backstory that gets filled in, as comics typically do, much further down the line.
As a matter of fact, Donald Blake doesn't find out that he's always been Thor. You're ready for this? Okay. So you know how I said that Thor... So let me go back to my publication history. So Thor started in Journey to Mystery number 83 in 1962.
Right.
Issue number 179 was when he became just Thor.
Oh my god.
Right? So 179. He becomes the Mighty Thor number 179.
Almost 100 issues later.
So issue 159, so 20 issues before he got his own publication, is when he finally finds out that he was actually always Thor to begin with. So 159, he got his start in 83 was his first appearance. So almost 100 issues before you find out that he was actually always Thor.
But the character Thor initially got introduced to Marvel, to the comic line, as Donald Blake?
Yes, and it was initially introduced that it's the stick that was enchanted to become Mjolnir. The stick is Mjolnir, and Mjolnir bestowed him the power of Thor. But it wasn't until the issue number 159
that they actually released that he was Thor all along.
That's right.
Even though we've tricked you for 159 episode
That's right.
series,
That's
issues,
right.
Whatever, telling you that it's this frail old dude.
That's right.
As a reader, I would just be like, no fucking way.
Yeah. So, in this time, before all of this happened, he had many Avengers, obviously. He's had many villains. Some of his most notable villains, aside from Loki. So, when Thor started appearing on Earth, that attracted the attention of Loki. And Loki was responsible for a lot of Thor's villains. And some of these villains are very notable. So, the most notable ones will be Absorbing Man. Absorbing Man. You have the Destroyer armor.
Yeah, the big Sentinel sent Earth, and there's just a big bad guy of the first Thor movie.
That's right. You also have the Wrecker.
Don't remember that guy.
Wrecker is a guy who's the leader of the Wrecking Crew. He's usually portrayed as a big muscular guy with like prison clothing almost, with a balaclava, and he uses a crowbar. And this crowbar is kind of like Mjolnir. This crowbar is made out of Uru metal, I think it is, and grants him like Thor-like strength and invulnerability.
Record.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see him in one of these upcoming movies.
Maybe. I also like to see Absorbing Man, because Absorbing Man is one of Thor's more powerful villains.
Yeah, you can absorb anything.
Yeah, including Mjolnir. Yeah.
Making him have the properties of Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Having the powers of a dwarf star. Yeah. Whatever the fuck that means.
Oh my god.
So as Donald Blake, his nurse was Jane
I
Foster.
was gonna say Jane Foster.
Yeah. So him and Jane Foster, by day, as humans, would go around and have their own private medical practice and help people.
That's why he teamed up with her in the first movie, and she's going around, though she's not medical practitioner, she's a
Scientist.
astrologist, scientist of some sort.
Yeah, but in the comics, she's actually a medical practitioner.
Right, so that's the twist between film to comics.
Yeah, one of, yeah.
Much more fitting, being that they went with the Donald Blake in the comics, and they didn't go with Donald Blake.
Yeah.
In the movie.
They did sort of.
Did they?
When Thor first wakes up on Earth, he has a name tag.
Blake?
D. Blake is on the name tag.
Okay. Okay, so they give him some random guy's clothes.
Yeah.
The way that they switched it up was fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they went with the Donald Blake, I would have preferred her being a medical practitioner. Of course.
Yes.
Cool.
So let's see here. So, how the Avengers got started was Loki enchanted Hulk and forced Hulk to go on a rampage. And to be able to stop the Hulk in a rampage, Thor had to join forces with Iron Man, Ant-Man, and Wasp to take him down. It wasn't until Avengers issue number 4 before they found Captain America.
Oh, he was one of the late joiners.
Yeah. Well, late joiners. It wasn't until like issue 4 or 5. But by that time, like Hulk quit the Avengers the issue after. And Thor ended up leaving not too long afterwards as well.
Really?
Yeah.
They got together and then they disbanded just like that.
Well, not disbanded, just the roster started changing already.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just can't commit to one thing.
No. Well, that's just the Avengers have always been like a revolving door. It's just the roster's constantly changing.
It's just confusing for readers, I would say.
Yeah. Well, at first, in the 60s, they didn't care so much, right? They didn't understand what sold or what was like. They didn't understand the importance of what they were writing.
No, as a producer, no. They didn't have the inside outlook, I guess, from the reader's perspective. And this is what we want. Keep giving us this.
Yeah.
They're just trying everything.
That's right.
They didn't fucking know.
That's right.
Let's just make a million different issues with a different million heroes, and if it sells, it sells. We'll write more of it. If it doesn't sell, we'll pull it.
Yeah.
That's how they work.
Yeah. But after that, Thor continued to have his own rogues gallery. Now, his rogues gallery is nowhere near as colorful as Spider-Man's or the X-Men, but he's got some notable villains. So some other notable villains that he's ended up fighting after that was Radioactive Man,
okay,
not from The Simpsons. You have Enchantress and the Executioner. The Executioner, he was in Thor Ragnarok.
He was the bad guy
with the guns.
Yeah, he was the Executioner.
Yeah.
And at the end, he had the double machine gun.
Yeah. What did he call them again? Because he calls them that in the comics too.
I can't remember.
But it's really funny. It's just you want to look that up, Kenny, real quick. What was Executioner's names of his two guns?
I cannot remember.
You'll laugh when he looks it up.
I forget who the actor for it was.
Oh, that's Kyle Urban. And the same guy who played Bones in the Star Trek movies, and also he played Dredd. Yes.
I can picture his face, just didn't know his name.
Yeah. Not to be confused by the country singer, which I often do. Yeah, Kyle Urban and Carl Urban.
Keith Urban?
Keith Urban. That's a country style. The country singer's name is Keith Urban.
Yes. What's he call those bad boys?
Des and Troy?
Yeah.
Des, Troy.
Yeah.
Meet my friends, Des and Troy.
Yeah.
And together they destroy.
Yeah.
I think that's what he says or something like that. There's some cheesy bullshit comic line.
Yeah. But in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the cartoons, he actually has his enchanted axe that causes things to freeze.
Oh.
Yeah.
He'll hit him and they'll just freeze.
Yeah, well, he'll hit the ground and it's like big stream of ice will rocket towards somebody, or it'll
That's
freeze
cool.
somebody, or it's a pretty powerful weapon.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, his executioner's axe.
Well, because we see him during Ragnarok basically serving Hela.
Yeah, in the comics he serves Enchantress. Honestly, I think Hela should have been Enchantress, but Hela served the purpose.
Did we see Enchantress?
No. We haven't seen the Enchantress in the movies yet.
I don't think so. Yeah, she should have been Enchantress.
Yeah. Well, consider the fact that Hela is actually Loki's daughter.
Not Odin's daughter?
No.
Oh, yeah, they fucked that up too, didn't they?
Yeah. Which is fine. It was a good story, good movie, and it served the purpose. The fact that Hela is Loki's daughter does not change the character. It's not a core aspect of the character one bit.
It was a small detail. Very small detail. Like, it didn't really matter who your father was.
Not in this context.
No, in this context.
No.
The Enchantress, though, because she's very powerful in the sense... She's kind of like... what's her name? Scarlet Witch? Kinda?
Kind of. She is Doctor Strange level magician.
Yeah.
She is very powerful in the magical arts, in the arcane arts. Like I said, she's as strong as Doctor Strange post retcon. So we haven't done a Doctor Strange episode, but Doctor Strange does go through a change where he goes from like uber powerful to where he loses his powers to being less powerful, and she's on par with the less powerful version of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we should do Doctor Strange. That uber powerful version is pretty sweet.
Yeah. So some other notable villains is Mr. Hyde and the Grey Gargoyle.
Grey Gargoyle, I remember him because he was in the Iron Man cartoon series.
Yeah.
Touches you, you turn to stone.
Yeah, he was a Thor villain.
That makes sense. Could he turn Thor to stone?
No, I don't think so. Maybe. Thor's pretty susceptible to magic.
Is he?
Yeah, he's been cursed many times.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Although the people cursing him are people like Loki and Enchantress, and so the people who are cursing him are already gods. So it's not really a fair comparison.
Pretty good magic they're using.
Yeah. Also Surtur and Malekith, which Surtur we've seen in Ragnarok, and Malekith we've seen him in the Dark World. The second Thor movie. The one Thor movie that nobody remembers.
No, yeah, blanking. I don't remember what
One where
happens
the
now.
mom dies.
Yes.
I still don't remember it.
With the ether.
Jane goes to Asgard.
With the ether. She gets possessed by the ether.
Vaguely. I remember it so
See?
vaguely.
Like I said, it's the Thor movie that everybody forgets.
Not good enough.
No, it wasn't. It was
Who's the villain? The Ice Giant?
Malekith.
The Ice Giant.
No, he's not an ice giant. He's a dark elf.
Ah, right.
He's a dark elf with a half black, half white face.
Yeah.
Loki dies.
Yeah, that was a shitty one.
Yeah.
That was a shitty
Not that the movie sucked. It just nothing.
Not memorable.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't fun.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't an origin story, and it wasn't Ragnarok.
It didn't reveal. Well, it killed off Thor's mom, which we'll get to in a second. She's not really his mom.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. So he makes friends with Hercules. There's a story where he ends up making friends with Hercules, and they end up having some adventures together.
Yes. Yes, they do.
And then, he finds out that his mom is actually not Freya. Also, doing my research, I found out that Freya is not spelled Freya. Freya is spelled Frigga.
Yes.
F-R-E-G-G-A. Frigga. But it's Freya. It's pronounced Freya.
The G's just don't pronounce.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Freya?
Yeah. So Freya is Odin's wife, but she is not Thor's mom.
Do we ever find out who his mom is?
We do. Thor's mom is Gaia, the Earth Mother.
Do we ever meet her? Is she ever relevant?
Sort of. So I'm going to jump way ahead, but it's relevant to the topic right now. In a much later on story involving Gore the God Butcher, in a very distant future where all life on Earth is dead, Thor ends up fighting
Gore?
Galactus.
Oh,
He
Galactus.
ends up fighting Galactus. And in that fight, he ends up bleeding, and his blood started going on Earth. Because his mom was Gaia, the Earth Mother, his blood actually started terraforming Earth, started bringing back life to Earth. Yeah. So he started using his power. He didn't know he could do that, so he started using his power to bring life back to Earth, to terraform
I
Earth.
just picture emo Thor running around the fields, just like...
Yeah, it's spreading the love.
Yeah. With a nosebleed.
Yeah, Hulk. He's anemic, can't stop.
Yeah.
Shit.
But his mom is Gaia.
Alright.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Cool. Now, why wouldn't that power have kicked in earlier?
Storytelling.
Right. It wasn't time.
Yeah. So, Odin was never a fan of Thor being in love with a mortal, with a human, with Jane Foster. So, eventually he conceded. He's like, okay, fine. If you really love this human, then she is going to take this test, this trial. If she succeeds, then I will accept her as your bride. So, Jane Foster ends up taking this trial that Odin puts on her, and she fails. So, heartbroken, Thor had to obey the deal that he made with Odin. Heartbroken, sends Jane Foster back to Earth so she can find her own love. And this is when Odin meets Lady Sif.
Not sure who that is.
Yeah, you've seen her in the movies.
What did she do?
She's the badass. She's the badass who fights with the Warriors 3 in like the first 2 movies. She's the one who shows up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. So she becomes his lover. And they actually... No, actually, I think Thor ends up having a child with Enchantress, actually. Yeah.
Gets around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, Enchantress is obsessed with Thor. Like, as in, like, she's in love with Thor. She's used love potions to try and force him to love her. Like, he doesn't love Enchantress at all because she's evil. But she's completely in love with Thor and will not accept anybody else to be his lover other than her. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a stalker.
Hard to get a restraining order in Asgard.
Yeah. Especially one who has the powers of Enchantress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic's tough.
Yeah. So, other battles he's had battles with Ego, the living planet.
Of course, and we saw him in the second Guardians of the Galaxy, portrayed by Kurt Russell, Star-Lord's dad.
Yeah.
And he is essentially
who's not really Star-Lord's dad in the comics, FYI.
No, but the Ego, the living planet, is a celestial.
Yes.
He is one of the elders.
Yeah, he is one of the more powerful beings in the universe.
Mm.
He's had battles with the High Evolutionary, which we've talked about briefly in our topic on Cyclops and on Jean Grey as well. High Evolutionary is just this cosmic being who has the ability to advance evolution of beings. Hence the name, the High Evolutionary.
Makes sense.
Very creative.
Yes.
Man Beast, which is a creation of the High Evolutionary.
One of his creatures.
Yeah. The troll Ulrich. I don't think we've seen Ulrich in the movies yet.
Probably not. I don't remember a troll. We've seen an ice giant, but that wouldn't be the troll.
No, Ulrich is well in the cartoons. He's voiced by Michael Dorn, Worf.
Right.
And it's an appropriate voice for the name for the body. If you look up the picture for Ulrich, he's a very thick, very round being. He looks like a giant, round Worf. Yeah, that's Ulrich.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
With a makeshift Punisher.
Sort of, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. With these weird brass knuckles things.
I swear I've seen him before in something. He looks like a shitty werewolf.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
Like a shitty werewolf.
Yeah. Well, he's their version of a troll. Yeah, he's Ulrich the Troll.
Okay.
And also you have Magog.
Magog.
Yeah.
That one's really familiar. Where have we seen that one?
I think we talked about him when we were doing our episode on Galactus and talking about the ranking of the most powerful beings.
Maybe.
I think Mangog was in that listing.
Probably.
He's a weird looking dude.
I was gonna say I can't get a picture for him. Maybe Kenny will pull one up. Yeah. Magog.
Yeah, it's Mangog. Mangog.
Oh, Mangog.
Yeah.
It's always man something, man beast, man this, man that.
Well, man beast is man beast. This is Mangog.
Looks like a bull.
Yeah, almost. With a really, 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 really bad overbite.
Like a shitty armadillo bull.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He ends up, when you first see Mangog, he is trying to get a hold of the Odin sword. And the Odin sword is like an all-powerful weapon. And he was trying to get a hold of the Odin sword to bring destruction to the universe.
Always someone trying to bring down the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously Thor never fights the little people. He never fights like street crimes. Thor is always fighting intergalactic fights. He's
a god.
He's threats against the universe.
He hails from another realm.
Yeah.
Like what? When he's on Earth, he belittles it. He makes fun of it. He acts like we're trivial.
Yeah.
Humans are beneath him.
Yeah.
Our problems are not his.
Pretty much. Which that actually comes into play later on. That what you just said there does come into play later on.
Yeah, he has a bit of a pompous attitude, especially when he first is brought to Earth.
I mean, like way later too. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So some other facts on showing why I said Thor is one of the most important characters in Marvel. Galactus' first appearance was in Fantastic Four, but we get Galactus' origin in Thor comics.
So he is a great segue character to kind of connect the dots on other ones who've been introduced.
Especially the intergalactic beings, especially the really powerful ones. Thor actually went toe-to-toe with Adam Warlock even.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Considering Adam Warlock beat Galactus today now.
I don't know if he can beat Galactus.
Thanos, sorry.
Thanos, yes.
My apologies.
Yes.
Different destructive ruler.
Yeah. In the 80s, I think it was 70s, 80s, or the 80s, Odin tries to fight the Celestials. The Celestials were trying to take over the Asgard. Odin tried to fight the Celestials by occupying a 2,000-foot tall destroyer armor that's holding the life essence of all Asgardians. With the Odin sword, aided by the Unimind, and the Unimind is an entity composed of the Eternals and Thor. And they still lost.
Yeah! Yeah, he's getting his ass whooped.
Yeah, the only way they survived that fight was because the All-Mothers, Gaia and Freya, or Freya and what's the Roman version of Freya? Or the Greek version of Freya, I mean. Hercules' mom.
Athena?
Yeah, Athena. So they end up making a pact with, they made a deal with the Celestials, and that's what saved the day. So the women saved the day on that one.
Good. Well, as the story of Thor goes on, a woman becomes Thor as well.
Yes, yes. We'll get to that. Then, Nick Fury contacts Thor and informs Thor that an alien spaceship is coming towards Earth, and he asks Thor to go and intercept. So Thor goes and intercepts this ship in fear of an invasion. And there he meets this big horse-faced guy named Beta Ray Bill. And they fight. And Beta Ray Bill actually gets the better of Thor. Thor throws a hammer at Beta Ray Bill, and Beta Ray Bill catches Mjolnir. Beta Ray Bill becomes the first being in Marvel Comics to ever hold Mjolnir aside from Thor.
He beat him with his own hammer?
Pretty much. So Beta Ray Bill was actually an alien from another race coming to Asgard for help because his his planet was being overrun by demons and needed help to fight these demons. So Beta Ray Bill is actually honorable and worthy. So the enchantment is bestowed upon Mjolnir. Aside from the fact that Mjolnir is forged from a dwarf star, it's not just its weight that makes it that only Thor can lift it. It's the enchantment. It says only the worthy shall be able to
wield the might of Mjolnir.
That's right. That's why even Hulk can't hold Mjolnir.
She's not worthy because it's not always honorable.
That's right. That's right. But Beta Ray Bill is. So when they went back to Asgard, Odin, they had a competition between Thor and Beta Ray Bill, and Thor won and get to keep Mjolnir. But Odin saw the valor in Beta Ray Bill and saw the honor in his quest. So he got Thor to go help Beta Ray Bill to free his people, and gave Beta Ray Bill his own hammer, Stormbreaker. And Stormbreaker was the hammer that we all saw in...
The axe.
Yes.
The axe.
Yes.
Yes, after Mjolnir is destroyed.
Yes.
But then he gets it back, doesn't he?
Oh, he gets it back from the other timeline.
Right.
Yeah, so... But Stormbreaker is another weapon, much like Mjolnir, that was crafted for Beta Ray Bill.
Only the worthy can wield it, and great power comes with it.
I don't think Stormbreaker has the only the worthy can hold it.
Really?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But it has all the other trimmings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good still then.
Yeah. I think that means Stormbreaker is not sentient.
Where Mjolnir is.
Yes. Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So Beta Ray Bill is a very popular character. And if you ever watched the World War Hulk animated movie, in the cartoon, in the comics,
Beta Ray Bill, not Thor, and
no, in the comics, Hulk fights Silver Surfer. In the animated movie, Hulk fights Beta Ray Bill. And Beta Ray Bill is almost as strong as Thor. It's pretty much like neck and neck as powerful as Thor. And they've had many team-ups. Those two team up a lot. And Beta Ray Bill is very popular amongst Thor fans. Thor readers love Beta Ray Bill. Even me, I'm a big fan of Beta Ray Bill. He's a good character.
Well, Thor essentially filled in his role. So it went from comic being Surfer to cartoon being Beta to Thor, Ragnarok.
That's right.
Being Thor.
That's right. It's quite the transition.
Yeah, quite the transition.
Yeah. Silver Surfer to Beta Ray Bill to Thor.
Yeah. Beta Ray Bill was basically there, though.
Yes.
So, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Natural next step.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to think where that brings us in the timeline.
So after Beta Ray Bill, so we're still in the 80s at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got a lot of time to cover here.
Oh, yeah. The other popular story of Thor is when Loki transformed Thor into a frog. Like I said, he's been cursed many a times. This is one of those times where he was cursed. He was cursed by Loki turning into a frog, and he ended up having an adventure in like Manhattan or something like that as Thor Frog. You can actually Google
Thor Frog.
You can actually get images of it. It's
the lightning, and then
it's kind of like like the dancing frog from the Warner Brothers cartoons. Imagine that, but wearing Thor's helmet. There.
So ridiculous. That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just imagine his tongue just like lightning shocking people.
But yeah, that didn't last very long, but it is a very popular story. They actually redid that one in Earth's Mightiest Avengers as well.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of those like...
Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah. It's one of those... South Park, World of Warcraft, just comedy gold.
Yeah,
just one of those priceless ones that you put in there just for shit.
Yeah, it's like on the same level as like Spider-Ham.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I got you.
And then after that, he ended up getting cursed again, but this time by Hela, I believe. Yeah, Hela ends up hexing Thor, making all his bones as brittle as glass. So that and make it so that he can never heal from any injury. But he can never die from injury. She made him totally immortal. He cannot die from injuries. But he can never heal from injuries, and his bones are as brittle as glass. It's quite the curse, right?
You won't die, but you'll be
your life is going to be pain.
You will be a bag of sand.
Yes. And essentially that's what happened to him. So after that is when the serpent, the Midgard serpent, shows up. Now the Norse mythology, actual real life Norse mythology, has it that Thor is going to fight the serpent, and that's Thor is going to die fighting the serpent, defending Midgard and defending Asgard against the serpent. And Thor was supposed to die fighting this serpent, and Thor fought the serpent, defeated the serpent, but because Thor was hexed, he was a puddle of jelly at the end, but he was still alive. Yeah, so they end up forcing Hela to reverse the curse, and he ends up getting his body back.
Can you unpuddle our friend?
Yeah.
Like, how do you beat the snake?
It's just like kind of like
he choked it. He made it swallow him.
Yes.
Choked it.
Pretty much. I'd imagine it'd be similar to the death of Superman, when Superman and Doomsday were fighting each other, and the final punch killed each other. Kind of like that kind of thing, I'd imagine.
Probably. Maybe he just torpedoed himself into the snake.
Yeah.
And on impact turned to jelly.
Yeah. Now this snake is no small thing. I mean that quite literally. If you ever Google Midgard serpent, you'll see this serpent is big enough to wrap around the Earth.
Where's it hiding?
In another dimension.
A big Earth.
Yes.
It is massive. It's hard to get a scale reference size of something that can span the Earth.
Yeah, there's definitely... Yeah, there it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, so there is a picture in relativity of it wrapping itself around the Earth.
Yes. Yeah, that's...
Does he only fight it once?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah, he does end up fighting Serpent later on, but we'll get to that.
Reminds me of Shenron.
As a matter of fact, when they first found this serpent, Loki was actually looking for him, and he actually found Fin Fang Foom. And Fin Fang Foom was actually the serpent in disguise.
Ah.
Yeah.
But Fin Fang Foom is Fin Fang.
Yes.
This guy was just pretending to be Fin Fang.
That's right.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Sneaky snakes.
Yes. Also, I thought... So, all transparency, before the movies came out, I never thought Thor was an interesting character. I never read a Thor comic. Wasn't that big of an Avengers fan. I was mostly Spider-Man, X-Men, a little bit of Ghost Rider, a little bit of Punisher, but mostly Spider-Man and X-Men were the two things that I read the most of. Thor, I always thought was a pretty boring character.
Thor, I knew about from my dad. He was a big Thor fan. He loved the Norse mythology, plays into our ancestry and whatnot, so that's probably why. And between Thor and there's Daredevil, a few other guys, those are the big ones.
Yeah.
He just stood out kind of. He looked different. Mm-hmm. Because obviously, like you said, he's a god. Whereas a lot of the other heroes that you get there, immortals.
Yeah, well, another reason, the big reason why I didn't like reading Thor comics because he read in Shakespeare speak. Thou shalt not, whatever. Like he would talk like a Shakespearean character, and that's how they wrote him in comics originally.
Yeah, because of the difference of dialect. Clearly, they wanted to distinguish. You're not from here.
Yes. Well, they made him
Asgardian.
talk like he was a Shakespearean character. Yeah, which nobody talks like that. Not ever.
Not ever, no. No. Unless you're from not around here.
Yeah. Anyways, the reason why I brought that up is because I was not aware. I thought it was because of Loki's popularity in the movie because I forgot the name of the actor's name. The guy who portrays Tom Welling?
Hiddleston?
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston.
Welling's a different.
Yes.
Tom Welling is Superman.
Yes. Yeah, Tom Hiddleston, who portrayed Loki, does an amazing job. Made Loki a super popular character. So I thought this whole entire Loki being good guy, bad guy, teaming with Thor, fighting against Thor was a new thing because of the cinematic movies. But turns out, no, it's not the case. This was actually Loki's character from the beginning.
Yep.
He would team up with Thor as often as he would fight Thor. Like when Thor got cursed.
He's a shitty brother.
Yes. Yes.
It's very, he was a very rainy day friend.
Yes.
When it's fitting to him, hey bro, let's team up!
Yeah.
When it's not fitting to him, he's the first one stabbing him in the back.
Yeah. It's almost like nobody's allowed to kill Thor but Loki.
Oh,
if anybody tries to fuck with Thor, Loki's going to be the first one to defend
I'm
him.
pretty sure it's a written rule.
Yeah.
Like, that is the rule.
Yeah.
No one fucks with him but me.
Yeah.
I think he says it in one of the movies.
Yeah. But in one fight, Thor ends up killing Loki. And at this point here, Odin had disappeared. I think it was because it was during. So Loki ends up causing Ragnarok. This is what happened. So Loki ends up causing Ragnarok, and in India after Ragnarok, Odin ends up disappearing. Everybody thought he was dead, but he was actually just disappeared into another realm with the Surtur. After that, Thor ends up killing Loki. And the stand-in for Odin was actually Heimdall. Heimdall actually took over for Odin. And when Thor killed Loki, Heimdall banished Thor from Earth. And this is when Thor got replaced by Eric Masterson. Now, we haven't talked about Eric Masterson
No, we
yet.
have not.
Eric Masterson was an engineer that ended up becoming friends with Thor. And he ends up getting injured in one of Thor's battles. And to save Eric Masterson, Odin ends up gifting Eric Masterson with a Asgardian weapon called Thunderstrike. And Thunderstrike ends up giving him powers and he becomes the hero Thunderstrike. So anyways, when Heimdall banishes Thor, Thunderstrike, Eric Masterson becomes the new Thor. During the where did I write that? I wrote it down somewhere. Oh, anyways, during the Infinity Gauntlet, the Thor that was up against Thanos,
It was Eric
It was Eric Masterson.
I remember us talking about that during the whole Infinity Gauntlet and Avengers Endgame saga.
Yeah.
Not our normal Thor.
No, it was
he died during that event, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he was just well, he was nowhere to be seen.
No, Eric Masterson was killed during that.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, at the end of Infinity Gauntlet, Eric Masterson was one of the only 3 people who remembers the events of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh.
It was only him, Doctor Strange, and Adam Warlock. No, him, Doctor Strange, Adam Warlock, and Silver Surfer are the other ones who remembers the events of the Infinity Gauntlet, of the Infinity War.
Oh, was the Iron Man who lost his head?
Yes.
I was like, someone died. Someone important there died.
Well, they all died. They all died. They all got their asses kicked.
Yeah.
Wolverine died. Spider-Man died. Iron Man died. All of them died. Captain America died. They all died.
Well, except for those 3.
Except for those 3. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the Thor during the Infinity War crisis.
Yeah.
When did our Thor resume the title?
When Odin came back.
When does he make his return?
Not too long afterwards. So Odin does end up coming back. So Odin ends up coming back and he ends up restoring Thor, allowing Thor to come back to Asgard, and Eric Masterson continued to be
Thunderstrike.
Thunderstrike, yeah. But so when Eric Masterson was Thor, though, he was the title Thor. Like he was a member of the Avengers, and he was everything. Like he took on all the roles that Thor had. But yeah, he became Thunderstrike, and he continued to be an Avenger as Thunderstrike as well until he ends up dying later on.
Do they show during the Thor comic while Eric Masterson is Thor? Do they show the other Thor?
I don't think so.
They don't kind of.
Once again, I didn't read Thor comics, so I don't know for sure. I remember the issues with Eric Masterson as Thunderstrike. I remember those issues when they first started getting printed, when Thunderstrike got his own issues and whatnot. He's got that blonde ponytail and that very 90s looking guy. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Although he didn't have all the pockets, though. That was another thing about the 90s. Lots of pockets. He didn't have a lot of pockets.
No pockets?
No pockets. Well, he did have a vest, like a jean vest. So that had pockets in it, I'm sure.
It's a jean vest without pockets.
Yeah. It keeps flipping all the way back up.
Oh, technology.
Yeah. So, after Odin comes back, he ends up fighting Surtur and ends up dying again.
Jesus, Odin.
Yeah, and then this time, Thor becomes King of Asgard. He becomes new ruler.
Right. New ruler, King of Asgard, and this brings us closer into what? 2000s?
In the early 2000s.
2000s. Okay.
And this is pretty much as far as I wanted to take this, because from there we can talk about the movies a little bit.
Yeah. We can talk about what's already been shown and then what's scheduled to release later.
Yeah.
Is going to lead us farther down into our continued episode of Thor.
Yeah, so pretty much the reason why we're stopping it here at the early 2000s, because in the early 2000s, Marvel started doing big event after big event after big event after big event. It makes it very difficult to cram all of that in one episode. So when Thor became became the king of Asgard.
He's always the god of thunder.
He ended up expelling a lot of his powers, and he ended up having to go into the Thor sleep.
Yeah.
He had to go into hibernation. During his hibernation is when Civil War happened.
So he wasn't around for Civil War?
No, he was not. But Tony Stark, Mr. Fantastic, and Hank Pym created a Thor clone called Ragnarok that ended up killing Scott Lang.
Right.
So when Thor came back, he wasn't too pleased about that.
Oh, so I was sleeping and you decided to make a double of me?
Yeah, try to make a fake version of me, a
murderous version.
You tried to make a god, is what you
tried to make a god.
Yeah, a false god. Yeah.
Oh,
so
Tony.
Yeah. So that's, like I said, we're going to have to put that off for a second episode of Thor. And I was talking to Kenny about this. We should probably start thinking about doing the part twos of all these different things we're going to do part twos of.
Come back and finish off a lot of our midway characters.
Yeah, so like we're going to still have to do a part two of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Still have to do a part three of Spider-Man. And still have to do a part two of Thor. We still have to do a part two of...
Well, Superman we got to redo.
Yeah, Superman.
We lost our episode for Superman.
Pretty sure we have to do a part two of Batman. I'm pretty sure we didn't do all of Batman. There's no way we did all of Batman in one episode.
Flash again. Like a lot of these characters, we have to redo.
Well, yeah, we haven't done Wally West yet.
No. So, we'll have a list. We'll get our itinerary set for the next few months to come, and we'll be touching back to, I won't say finalize, but return to previous characters, because we might have to do a third.
Yeah.
We might have to do a fourth.
Yeah.
We'll see how time tells and what we can fit in the segment.
Yeah. So, suffice to say, we've talked a lot about Thor, and we just hit the early 2000s. We still have all of 2000s and all of 2010s. We're now in 2020, going into 2021 soon. So,
so some of the big things that we've seen in the MCU with Thor are obviously his origin story in the first movie.
Yeah.
The Destroyer armor.
Yeah.
His humility lesson.
Yeah.
Obviously in Avengers we see Loki.
Yeah.
Causing them to form.
Yeah.
Vanquishing him, going into Asgard realm.
Yeah.
Deals with his mother's death. Deals with his brother's betrayal and adoption and blah blah blah. The Ice Giants. His father hiding their history.
Yeah. Thor and Jane Foster's breakup. And Ragnarok. We got to witness Ragnarok. The fall of Asgard twice, because there was the fall of Asgard from the movie Ragnarok, and then the fall of the Asgardians and Avengers Infinity War.
Yes.
Because Thanos ends up killing them all. Right?
Everyone remaining on the ship, he kills them all.
Yeah.
So not only did Ragnarok happen, but the decimation of the rest of them.
Yeah.
Like, the only ones left are now on Earth, if I'm not mistaken, and led by Valkyrie as their queen of the Asgards.
Yeah.
In a small little fishing village, basically where they found Aquaman.
Yeah. Namor.
Aquaman. In Namor. Yeah.
Speaking of someone we've never done.
Yeah, we haven't done Namor
He's
yet.
another one on the list.
He hasn't made his appearance in movies. He's only been referenced, so...
Yeah, every time they talk about Wakanda and some disturbance in the middle of the ocean and there's some shit going on over there and you see a map, it's all Namor reference.
Yeah.
Just that little dot in the ocean randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah, now...
Wait until you see him in his Speedo glory.
Oh, God, I want to see who they cast from. You know who they should get? Peter Petrelli.
Yeah.
The guy who played Peter Petrelli in Heroes.
Yeah.
Might be
that.
It might be bad. Or fuck, you could even do Mohinder.
Yeah. Another one that could do Namor would probably be what's his name? Jack from Lost. The main guy.
Really?
The heavy breather.
Jack Shepherd?
Yeah. Not Shepherd.
Not
the blonde.
Matthew Fox? Is that his actor's name? Matthew Fox?
Not the blonde, the doctor.
Yeah, the main dude, Jack.
Yeah.
I want to say his name.
Yeah, Sawyer was the blonde. That's right.
Sawyer was the blonde. What's his name?
Jack Shepherd.
The actor's name.
Matthew Fox.
Yeah. But yeah, because you gotta have somebody who's stoic, big, dark hair, dark eyebrows.
He's gotta be aggressive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, kind of stone-faced.
Yes.
Stone-faced.
Yes. Regal, unbending, and hyper confident.
Maybe we'll do that for one of our episodes, and it won't be so much a character breakdown or event. It'll be, who do you want to see in upcoming characters?
Yeah.
Or if this character made a movie or got in a TV show, who would you pick it?
Yeah.
I think we should do a special episode. Maybe we'll pick...
They'll probably go with somebody younger for Namor, honestly.
Well, although they need someone to bridge 10, 15 years in the MCU.
That's right.
So that alone tells us he's going to be in his 20s.
Yes. 20s to early 30s.
Yes. Yeah, I think that would be an interesting episode. Why don't we get a list together of, let's say, 10 to 15 characters or more.
Yeah.
And we'll see... Why don't we do Season 1? We'll take all our characters from Season 1. If they were in a movie...
That haven't been cast.
Yes, and if they were in a movie, who would we cast them as?
Yeah. So like Wolverine, and Cyclops, and Jean Grey.
Well, hey, they're all up for reprisal roles,
Yeah.
so we can talk about them too.
Yeah.
Because there's no one currently doing them.
No. Good timing for us to do this Thor episode because they are coming with a new Thor movie. What's it called? Thor...
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder, coming in 2012. 2022.
9 years ago. Get it soon while it lasts.
2022. And my roommate and I were just talking about how, he thinks that Christian Bale is, the actor of actors. He keeps on saying that he could, any role that Leonardo DiCaprio has done, Christian Bale could have done and better. I kind of disagree on that, but it's not to knock Christian Bale. He's a fantastic actor. Anyways, I ended up IMDbing Christian Bale, and Christian Bale is going to be in the new Thor movie.
Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And there's rumors of Horse Guy being in it.
Beta Ray Bill?
Beta Ray Bill.
Nice.
There's speculation.
Well, they're going into
being
deep
in
space. It only makes sense because he's teaming up with the Guardians.
Yeah.
So you gotta remember, this next Thor movie is actually Guardians and Thor.
Yes.
Is it not? It's a crossover?
Well, no, because Guardians have a movie coming
It's
out.
separate from Guardians 3, but it's also more of a bridge to tie in them. See, Guardians has never really been directly tied in to the Avengers and them. So this is more of a bridge to directly tie that section into the rest of the Avengers per se, because they've popped up in Endgame and
Well, they popped up in multiple areas, and characters are in different stories throughout.
The cat's out of the bag now.
Yeah, they're all in the same universe, whether or not they team up a lot.
Yes. They are aware of each other's presence now.
Which is a big thing.
Yes.
Because it's like, now we have friends somewhere.
And at the end, Thor left with the Guardians.
Right, and that's what led me to believe, hey, we're going to see them in Love and Thunder, but you are correct when you said Guardians of the Galaxy next movie releases first.
Yes.
So at the end of the movie, for all we know, him and Beta Ray Bill could peace off, and then we got Love and Thunder.
Well, the next Thor movie is supposed to be female Thor.
Yeah, Jane Foster Thor.
Yeah.
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 I wonder if they keep Beta Ray Bill around, though.
Maybe.
And get rid of Thor. And have a Jane
Well,
Foster.
Thor is gone with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, but while he's in that deep galaxy, I bet he runs into Beta Ray Bill.
Maybe.
And at that point, he comes back.
Oh, he's thinking maybe they'll do Beta Ray Bill in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie instead of the Thor movie.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Or they might do Beta Ray Bill in the Thor movie with female Thor and just replace male Thor for female Thor and still do the same story. Where they meet up with Beta Ray Bill and they end up fighting each other and he ends up holding Mjolnir.
They might, because I don't know if... I don't think the MCU's invested enough into the Jane Foster.
Well, they haven't even introduced the idea.
Right. But they've introduced Jane Foster and they've introduced Thor, so it's
Yes.
only natural that Jane Foster becomes Thor.
Yes.
Whether or not they want that and they think it'll be a big budget seller is up for...
Well, especially if they... See, right there. That image right there. That's an awesome image.
I don't know if it's
Legit or not? Yeah, I don't know if it's legit either. But if they keep... So... I was going to say this for the next episode of Thor, but I kind of do want to talk about it a little bit now. So the reason why Jane Foster Thor is so popular, why is she so liked, why she was such a great storytelling, is because Jane Foster in the comics, she is actually dying of cancer.
Yes, and every time she becomes Thor, it speeds up.
Well, it gets rid of the chemo.
Yeah.
So she's dying of cancer and she's taking chemo. But every time she turns into Thor, that transformation annihilates all the radiation in her body. It annihilates all that chemo radiation in her body. But the cancer remains. So every time she turns into Thor, she's dying. She's killing herself.
Yes. She's speeding up the cancer levels.
Yeah, well, when she goes back to human. Like, when she's Thor, she's not dying.
Yeah, she's fine, but it's the in-between, the transitions, that it zaps her.
Yeah.
So there's apparently some confirmed cast for Love and Thunder. So you have Cork, Jane Foster, Natalie Portman, Thor, Chris Hemsworth, and then Christian Bale, unnamed character so far, and then Valkyrie is supposed to be returning.
I could totally see Christian Bale being all rough and gruff with a fucking horse face, like CGI over, like.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian Bale is
He's
Beta.
He's Beta. I bet he's Beta. Or the bad guy. He's gonna be the villain, or he'll be Beta. Or they make Beta Ray Bill the bad guy.
No, that'd be bad.
Bad guy.
Well, it's one of those. I think you're the bad guy, and they fight, and then after they fight,
they'll need a proper bad guy.
Of course. Who else is on the line?
That's it. That's literally that's all.
So he's either the bad guy or he's Bill.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's all we got for this week's episode.
Yeah.
Obviously, like we said, we're going to revisit our Season 1 characters. When do you want to do that episode?
We could do it between Season 2 and Season 3.
It's probably a good idea to do a special.
Make it like a regular special that we do between each season.
Yeah, because ideally on that episode, I want to get some more viewer involvement. I want to hear from you guys, because we'll have our own candidates in mind, but I'm sure there's some other great picks out there, people that you'd like to see in the MCU or the DCU. So,
yeah, that's right. You should see her biceps.
Thing.
Yeah, female Thor.
Female Thor.
Yeah, you should see her biceps. She's fucking ripped.
She's been working out. Are we talking comic book?
Yeah.
Comic book biceps on peak. Alright, so next week, who do we got? Are we doing...
Those aren't good pictures of her bicep. There's one image out there of Jane Foster Thor where she's got like man muscles.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, who do we got next week?
We hadn't picked anyone.
No, we haven't.
No, but we gotta go back DC or elsewhere in terms of Sin City, Dark Horse, or something.
So if we wanted to, say, do another wrap-up, we could possibly go back to Green Lantern, do a second part of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could do someone who's more singular. Like you guys mentioned Blue Beetle a lot last week. Possibly do that. Or hop into the Robins. Open up another open end.
Well, is there a character from Stargirl that you'd maybe want to do? Or someone in the Justice League that we haven't done yet that we probably should?
We haven't really, like I said, I want
We
to keep
could
it
do John
relevant.
Jones.
We can, but
He is in Supergirl and other things.
yeah, he is in Supergirl.
Pretty relevant in all the Justice League Unlimiteds, and he was even in Smallville, I believe.
Yeah,
He has lots of cinema.
but I think you're right. I think I want to go back to some of these other guys. I wouldn't mind doing Wally West.
Then let's kick it back. Why don't we finish off the characters? So we'll finish off the Flashes with Wally, because we've talked about Barry, and we talked about Jay Garrett a little bit while doing Barry.
Mm-hmm. We haven't talked about Bart that much or at all. But
Well, going down the line,
yeah,
you know, Jay, Barry, Wally,
Yeah.
then Bart.
Yeah.
It's not Bart's turn.
No.
All right, so there you have it. Back to the Speedsters, back to DC Universe. As of next week, we will be bringing you guys episode 23, featuring The Flash, Wally West. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Worlds Collide. I'm Justin.
and I Mitch.
And you guys, we will see you next week.
Cheers.
Stay tuned.